Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the Puma Stewie 2. So this is Breanna Stewart's second signature shoe with Puma, of course, and this shoe retails for 125 bucks. So it's a pretty good price. I feel like 125 bucks is a little expensive, but not super expensive. It's like, it's getting into mid-tier pricing, right? So if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. This colorway is actually really sick. It's a combination of like red, but also like the upper is like a darker red, right? So it's a great colorway, and again, links will be in the description box. But let's get it started off with the tracciones. And as far as the pattern goes, the pattern is actually pretty cool, right? So here in the forefoot, we have a very interesting looking kind of like herringbone traction pattern, and then below that we have like a really cool cloud kind of pattern, right? Cloud or water pattern. We can see our logo right here with the Puma logo, and then in the heel we have a very, it's kind of like it looks kind of like a fire to me, right? So how does the traction feel on my wood floors? It feels pretty damn nice. The bite is very good, and it seems way better than the Stewie 1. And the reason why I didn't really like the Stewie 1 was because the traction wasn't amazing, right? It was all right, it was pretty good, but not top tier, not solid even. So hopefully the Stewie 2 is better, right? But it's feeling pretty damn good so far on my wood floors. But the thing also is that it seems like it's gonna pick up a little bit of dust because the grooves are super duper close together, right? So that'll probably trap dust and debris in there a little bit. So I wish they would have, spread it out a little bit more, but we'll have to see on the actual rubber compound how well does it bite through dust, right? But also the durability seems really bad, right? So the herringbone, especially here at the tip of the toe, the rubber is really thin and also very soft. So that'll probably rip off pretty easily if you're playing on an outdoor court. The cloud pattern is actually a little bit harder, right? And I guess the grooves don't look that much thicker, but it does feel a little bit harder as far as the rubber goes. So it'll probably be a little bit more durable, and I guess that's good just because like where the ball of your foot is, it's like right here, right? And the ball of your foot is where you put a lot more force, right? So you want this part to be a little bit more durable. So I guess that's good, but still here, it doesn't seem very durable, right? So probably not the best option for outdoor use. So yeah, I do have my hopes up as far as the traction performance goes, because it does feel pretty nice on my wood floors. But again, we'll have to see on that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, it does feel pretty damn smooth so far, right? So here in the heel, we have a pretty nice rounded shape, kinda, right? It's kinda rounded. As you guys can see in the back of the heel, this is all like rubber and super caged. So the outsole comes up to cage the midsole, and also we have this like kind of external heel counter in the back of the heel with her logo right here. So that does, it does cage the cushion a little bit, but still it's not super clunky or anything. Also, this cushion is super duper soft, right? So it feels pretty damn nice in the heel, and in the forefoot we have a nice curved shape and a good amount of forefoot flex, but also feels like torsional support is good. It seems like there is a midfoot shank plate. So overall heel to toe transition does feel very smooth. And also another thing that I kind of like is there is a little bit of an outsole curvature, just a tiny bit, right? As you guys can see, the outsole does come up here on the medial side, giving you better grip when you're doing these types of movements. And also it's rounded just a tiny bit, so that does feel nice as well. Nice little bonus, right? I feel like a lot of Puma shoes do that, like the Mellows and also these. But anyways, there is the heel to toe transition. Now segueing into the cushioning setup. So they're not saying it's nitro foam, they're saying it's nitro infused, right? So they're saying it's a nitro infused midsole, which is kind of interesting. It also says nitro infused right here. Right, doesn't even say nitro foam, so that's kind of weird. But anyways, just feeling it with my finger, right? Look at how much compression there is. It's super duper soft, right? So especially here in the heel, I definitely understand why they caged it in the back of the heel. But in my personal opinion, right, wouldn't you want to cage the lateral side a little bit more? Just because if it's super soft here, it can be a little laterally unstable. You know what I mean? So if you cage it, especially with this soft foam, you'd want this part to be caged a little bit, and then in the back of the heel, you don't really need this part to be caged just because you're not gonna roll your ankle like that. You know what I mean? You're gonna roll your ankle like this. So anyways, just, you know, a little bit of what I would have done, I guess. Here in the heel, it's super duper soft. Like there's a lot of compression. It feels great. Core feel is not the best here in the heel. You know, it does get pretty chonky. It does get pretty high up there, but not terrible. And then in the forefoot, the core feel is actually pretty good. So there is a pretty high offset. But yeah, the heel cushion feels great. And also step and comfort feels really nice so far, right? I guess Puma is doing what Under Armour used to do. Under Armour used to give us really, really nice, thick, plush insoles, right? Not really as much anymore, but anyways, Pumas, they've been giving us really, really thick, plush insoles, right? So this insole feels really, really nice for step and comfort. I mean, insoles, they do bottom out over time, so it doesn't really add that much, right? But when you first get it, it feels really nice, right? And right now, it feels really nice. And then underneath that, when I first saw it, I was like, yo, it's like one of those regular strobe boards. It looks like it's being pretty damn stiff. It looks very, very glued down, but when you press it with your finger and then when you put the shoe on, it's actually, it's pretty soft, you know, and it's not super soft like, you know, the Wild 10s or the Way of Waves or even the Adidas, like the Harden Volume 7 with like the softer strobe board and then the Way of Waves with the soft mesh strobe board, right? But still there's a nice little give to it, right? So step and comfort is actually pretty nice. I feel like it's gonna get even better once I break it in and like sweat and the heat for my foot, kind of break in the glue and stuff like that on the strobe board. So I feel like the step and comfort is gonna be, it's gonna get a little bit better, right? So overall cushion feels really, really nice. Hopefully the heel cushion isn't too soft and I don't feel too sluggish when I'm playing it, but overall it feels great so far, right? And now moving on to the upper. So it's basically just like a mesh material, right? It's just a mesh upper that they're saying it's a mesh upper. And I really like how it feels, right? Look at how thin it is. Super duper thin and super soft, right? Just press it with my fingers, like molds to where I'm pressing with my finger, right? So it conforms to my foot extremely well. There's no pinching or anything like that. It does feel overall pretty supportive as well. You can see a whole lot of fuse as well, right? A whole bunch of fuse here at the tip of the toe. So that's good for toe drags, good for support, good for durability. And we do have some overlays as well, like a good amount of overlays, right? And I do like this like shinier fuse here on like the lateral side and also on the medial side. It looks a lot better than the MB2 as far as like quality goes. You know, the MB2 looks very, very cheap just because there's so much fuse and stuff like that. But here in the Stewie 2, it actually looks pretty nice. You know what I mean? And of course, we can see the Puma logo here as well. And then for the tongue, it's super duper plush. So Puma gives us very, very plush tongues, which I like. Feels very, very nice on top of your foot. And it's also a half booty construction tongue. You can also see your logo here on top of the tongue as well. And then here in the ankle area, there is a good amount of padding as well. It's on the sides and also in the back of the heel. Feels very, very plush, feels very comfortable in the back of the shoes. So super minimal feeling upper, right? Very, very minimal here in the midfoot as well, here in the toe box. But also a very plush for the tongue and here in the back of the shoe. So I really like how it feels on foot, and also it doesn't feel too bad for the quality. It's definitely not the best. It's not premium, but also it's not terrible. I feel like it's actually pretty good for the price as far as the quality goes. So there is the upper there. All right, moving on to the fit. So this is a women's basketball shoe and it's in women's sizing, right? So if you are a size 8, make sure to go up a size and a half, right? So if you're size 8 in men's, you want to get a 9.5 in women's. However, this shoe fits freaking snug, really. I would say it fits short, right? Fits pretty short and also super duper snug here in the toe box. Like my toes are curled up in here, right? So it reminds me a lot of the John 1s, and I would even say it's a little bit shorter than that. So for most people, I'll probably suggest going up 2 sizes, right? So if you are a men's size 8, I would suggest going women's size 10, just because I went true to size, right? In this shoe for my men's size, and it fits really short and fits really, really snug here in the toe box as well. So honestly, it's not terrible for me. You know, I could probably make it work when I ball in it, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like walk around in it. It's just super duper snug, so just be careful on that. Also, I would say it is a pretty narrow fit as well. So yeah, there is the fit there. Moving on to the support and lockdown, it feels like it's gonna be good overall right now. You know, this, like I said, this upper does feel pretty supportive, but there's not a whole lot of lateral counters, right? So I guess the foam does come up acting as a sidewall just a tiny bit, right? But I feel like this material might roll over on itself just a tiny bit, you know? So I don't think it'll be terrible. It'll probably be around the same as like the PG6, maybe a little bit better. Definitely nowhere near like super good like the Zion 2 or something like that, Cosmic Unity 3. But I feel like lateral containment will be overall pretty good. There's also an internal TPU heel counter coupled with this kind of like external heel counter in the back. But in the midfoot and here in the forefoot, not a whole lot going on, right? So I am a little bit worried about that, but of course, I'm gonna need to test them, right? And also lateral stability, nothing crazy. There is a little bit of an outrigger, right? The outsole does protrude a little bit. It does seem to be a pretty wide base, but that's something that Puma has been lacking on a little bit, even in their previous models, right? They make it pretty narrow, right? Especially comparing to like Under Armour's, like the Currys, or even Adidas shoes. So hopefully it's not laterally unstable, especially with the softer foam here in the heel on the lateral side. But again, we'll have to see on that. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. So that's definitely something that Pumas have been lacking on as well, is the weight. A lot of their shoes are pretty damn heavy just because their foams are super heavy. They're very high density foams. So I'm guessing this is gonna be like, it does feel pretty light though. Maybe the nitro infused foam, I mean, it's not nitro foam, or it doesn't really say nitro foam. It's saying it's nitro infused foam, and it does feel a little bit lighter. So 12, 13 ounces, I'm guessing. Oh, okay, 12.7 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 12.5 ounces. So the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So that's very, very average weight. And yeah, it feels very minimal on foot. It doesn't feel super heavy, and it also doesn't feel super bulky either. So overall, I really like how it feels on foot so far. It's just the only thing that I don't like so far is how freaking short this shoe is, right? How tight it is. So there's that. As far as the aesthetics go, I really like it. You know, whoever the designer is over at Puma, they're kind of killing it. They're making some great looking shoes, and it's definitely up there. You know, I definitely feel like Puma is killing it as far as design goes. Adidas kind of sucks. Under Armour kind of sucks. Nike, of course, is very, very good. And then Way of Way, they're killing it as well. So that's what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, I'm really liking the shoe overall so far as my first impressions go. It feels great on foot. I love the minimal feel, but also it feels very cozy on top of my foot, like with the tongue and then here in the back of the shoe. But it doesn't feel too bulky or anything, right? Cushion feels very soft and comfortable. Traction's feeling good so far as well. Like I said, the only thing is the short fit, but other than that, I'm liking the shoe overall so far. So yeah, I am pretty damn excited to try these out. So my first impressions are looking good for the Stewie 2. Again, if you guys do want to copy the Stewie 2, I try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.